Okay, so we are live. Welcome to those of you on Facebook. We're here at the shop. We're doing a tour on Wednesday. It's hump day, so, you know, we got to do something. It's not a bad word. Oh, Audrey complains at me for everything. So hump day's not bad, is it? No. I mean, that's not a... Yeah, it's like a camel day or something, right? So here we are, Hump Day Wednesday. We're doing Facebook Live, and we are entertaining. We basically have had a conversation about this really exhilarating topic called ethanol and octane ratings of fuel, and then we're turning that into questions and conversations from the crowd. So, anybody else have a question? It doesn't have to be anything about ethanol. Oh, come on. Now you're all going to be quiet when we turn the cameras on.
All right, so can you use additives to make up for octane? And...
No. You can use... Wow, you're asking me that subject in front of a camera. Drive it off-road and add the right gas to it. Go out and get some racing gas and do that. Really, what we do mostly when we run into that situation is we drop the octane, or we drop the compression rating low enough to run on 93, and then we put what's called stay-light seats in the heads, which deal with the lack of lead. And then as far as the ethanol, we just drive them as often as we can. So we can sort of re-baseline an engine to run properly on the garbage gas that our government allows us to buy today, but there is no legal way that really will address lead, ethanol, and octane if you're in an area that doesn't have ethanol-free gas. So yeah, you're just sort of stuck, unfortunately. Oh, and by the way, almost as bad as the fuel is the oil now. Are you all aware that you can't even use modern oils on old cars either? Because they rip the zinc out of that. Just like they rip the guts and the lead out of gasoline, they rip the zinc out of oil because some pacifist liberal said that we can't have ZDDP on the roadside because it like killed a weed, and so they made us take that out. Yes, next one.
How long is your waiting list?
How long is my waiting list? I get asked that question all the time. A man called me up 3 days ago with a prototype car that it was believed that there was only one prototype built, and in fact the descendant of the company's owner said we in fact did build two, and it was a documented second prototype of this particular car. Car's on its way here right now. You call me up with a 1975 Ford Pinto, and the waiting list is, you remember that last album that the Eagles did, Hell Freezes Over? That's kind of the waiting list. So it really depends on the car, and on the passion of the customer, and on the project. So there is no straight answer. The waiting list could be as little as a day and as long as never. So it isn't, I don't let some cars come in here. Like, there's virtually nothing from the 80s that will ever darken my door. Don't throw stuff at me. I didn't build the crap. I just had to try and fix it. And I realized after trying to fix it, it's unfixable. So we don't even bother anymore. Question? Oh, come on.
Caroline has 2 questions.
All right, Miss Caroline. All right. I figured it. Oh, Caroline, you have to ask me a question. Caroline, can you come up here and sit with me?
Here.
Can you sit with me? Because I need your help in a little bit. Okay, all right.
No.
We
There's
won't
no
do that to Miss Caroline.
There's no camera on you. Look at what you did.
I got out in 2005. I spent 3 years as a government contractor, still doing a similar job, and then concurrently started this company. So I started the company in 2006, even though I didn't completely get out of government service until like 2008, I think.
You were Air Force or?
Air Force.
No.
That's a good alternative to active forces, right? Active duty. Are you Air Force?
No, I'm Army.
Okay, I was going to say I'm Army too, because I knew my parents. Right? If you know both your parents, you're allowed to join the Army. If you know one, you're allowed to join the Navy. And if you really don't want to join the Armed Services, you join the Air Force. If anybody's here in the Air Force, I'm sorry, my dad was Air Force, so I can say that. Yes.
Are you looking for any apprentices?
Am I looking for apprentices? Audrey, wait a second. Hang on.
No, you can't take my...
Go ahead. Are we looking for apprentices?
No, we're not.
Okay, so...
Can I have my phone back?
The problem we have with apprentices is what the average apprentice wants is a free $100,000 education, one hell of a paycheck while getting a free $100,000 education, and then the freedom and liberty to do anything they want, anytime they want, and set their own hours. So am I looking for more people like that? Not a single one, no.
What about Grand Nationals? Do you work on them?
They fall out of the era. Look, they were probably the fastest and best things built in their era. The biggest problem with working on a Grand National is the fact that if you mess, and let me make sure we're talking about me, if I mess with one element of the fuel system and negatively affect the fuel economy of that car in any way, and that means I mess with the evap system, the fuel delivery system, the heads, the smog system, or the exhaust system, it's a $50,000 federal fine. So I tend to stay away from $50,000 federal fines. So the long story short is there's almost nothing I can touch on them and abide by the law, so I would rather just, it's a little bit like going to a house of ill repute. You're better off just staying out of them than you don't get in trouble. And that's, I look at a Grand National sort of that same way. I mean, yeah, really.
But yours looked really pretty in your profile picture.
Did it?
Yes, it did. So, there's that.
Okay, you got me.
Oh, what's the best aftermarket fuel injection system?
The best aftermarket fuel injection system is the one you don't install. Look, if you want to go fuel injected, you are pissing into the wind to do anything but go to GM, Ford, or Dodge. Really, look, the American manufacturer has done just quantum leaps in quality improvements in the last 20 years. I mean, I'm not just saying that, I'm telling you. You can buy the cheapest Ford, Dodge, or Chevy today, and it will beat the crap out of the best things, any of them built in the 1980s. And I mean, hands down. So why would you mess with a small company that does aftermarket R&D and doesn't really have a good support system when you can go to GM, buy a 500 horsepower, over a 500 horsepower, brand new factory motor from GM for about 10 grand with fuel injection, and it gets 22 miles to the gallon. Why would you do anything else? You know what I mean? It's just, it's like, if it were expensive, I would say avoid it, but it's so damn cheap, you might as well just do it.
Hold on. Is there a guy named Matt here?
Oh.
Oh. Ashley says hi.
Wait a second. Okay, your wife is not here, so it's cool
That's
that.
my daughter.
Oh, that's your daughter. I was going to say, it's a good thing that, you know, because sometimes you get busted here.
Your daughter says hi.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to introduce you guys and gals. I'm not going to get the evil eye again, the snake eye, am I? Okay, good. Where are you from? Well, I know you're from your mom, but I mean, okay, so Polandia. That's how you say it in Polish, yes? Polandia? Oh, just Poland?
Polonia.
Polonia. Polonia. Okay, not Polandia. All right, I was close. Well, welcome. Welcome to the United States. I mean, I'm sure you've been here for a while, right? Probably longer than me. You should be welcoming me. I'm a foreigner. All right, Mike, come on up here. In fact, I'll give you the high chair.
I resemble that Navy remark.
All right, so who we have here is Mike Vogt. He is running for Norfolk City Treasurer. And folks who are watching on Facebook Live, please join us for 1 minute. I am very, very politically active. Audrey's waving her head because she knows that I get on political rants, but I'm going to be very good today. Mike is here because we've had in Norfolk some issues with the city treasurer's office. A few $100,000 used for bribes, 6 years in prison, and all of these things have sort of put a bad name. And you know, with Norfolk being such an amazing city, we really want a government in the city of Norfolk that represents us well. Now, Mike is a fellow serviceman, 26 years in the United States Navy, and not just, I mean, he didn't mop floors. Mike not only served as an enlisted man, but he was also an officer and a commanding officer. So he brings with him kind of that discipline and respect that is both earned and well-deserved in the United States military. He's got a background in finance and in the Navy, served managing multi-million-dollar accounts honorably as a United States Navy officer. And then finally, he now is working as a financial advisor, running for the city office, and with not only a baccalaureate degree in finance, but an MBA, I think really fits that job well. So, folks, if any of you have any questions for Mike, I'm going to turn the floor over to Mike, but he's certainly got my support because I really want integrity and honesty returned. And for those of you who are military, thank you for your service. Mike, thank you for your service. And the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Yeah, just real quickly, thanks again, Dan, for giving me a couple minutes here. We really have to restore the public trust in Norfolk and that specific office. I'm sure many of you know we've got to restore the integrity, the accountability in that office. We also need to cut ties with the status quo politicians that we've had for entirely too long here in Norfolk. And I'm uniquely qualified for the position of city treasurer. I've managed, over my 26-year Navy career, I've probably managed hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars. I have also got the leadership skills that I've developed over that military career. And that office needs a leader and not just a paper pusher. So I'm the candidate who's best qualified to take over for city treasurer. So please, if you guys are Norfolk voters, please vote for me November 7th for city treasurer.
All right, any questions?
What is the first thing you plan on doing when you get into office?
Well, I've got a few things in mind, but the first thing that I would probably do is have an audit, and a real audit, not just some procedural audit that we've had. Most recently, we haven't had a real honest to God. Now she's getting stink eye. We haven't had a real honest to God accounting for every dollar in that office for quite a while, and that's the first thing that I would do if I were to.
Any questions from anybody here?
Treasurer.
Anybody politically motivated? I really am, because if you think about, here I am talking about our government and putting ethanol in the gas. I don't want any of that stuff happening again. So, all right, thank you, Mike. And I wish you all the luck in the world.
Just out of curiosity, I do have.
Yeah.
Is this an interim election or is this a?
No, what they did was city council put somebody in there temporarily, so they have an interim treasurer right now. He's doing a fine job, but he's not on the ballot, and so this will be for a full 4-year term.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Now, any questions from either Mike or me about the show? No one here has asked any questions about that. I can tell you about ethanol, and nobody wants to talk about anything about ethanol. That's crazy.
I'm going to talk about the show. So when you watch the show, like how far back is that going? Like, are you seeing a car that was done 3 years ago?
In some cases, you're seeing, we've got a show coming up this year that you will see, and when I say this year, it'll be towards the end of this calendar year. We started this vehicle 4 years ago. And we worked on it for 4 years. So that's one of the things about this show that makes it very, very different from many of the shows that are out there. I know shows that are being filmed where they start the show and they end the show 2 days later.
Yeah.
And our shows, on average, we have an 18-month span from the beginning of filming of any given show. That's average. But they will run as much as 4 years. Yeah. So could you imagine how many things change in your life in 4 years?
Oh, yeah.
And so just think about all the implied things that we have to do. Hair, facial hair, haircuts, clothing from summer to winter attire back 4 times. You know what I mean? It's a quite complex task to do that. Yeah.
What is your average hourly rate?
Our average rate's about $75 an hour. And for those people who say that's expensive, forgive me, but there's a fastening device that turns in a clockwise node, okay? That's what I say to those people. My overhead rate is right at about $45 an hour. Add another $25 an hour onto that for an average pay scale, there's $70 an hour, 75 an hour, if we get it. Let's put it this way, last year our profit margin was 2.4%. So when people say $75 an hour is too much, fastening device here.
We live in DC. That would be a dream.
In DC, wait a second. People come down here from DC all the time because I know $140 an hour is not uncommon in DC. And what you don't realize, that the advertised rate and the real rate can sometimes be off by as much as 3 times. In other words, if they advertise a rate of 110, you could actually be paying $300 to $400 an hour. That's real. I won't go through all the math on how that is. And if any of you want to find out, ask me at the end of the tour and I'll explain it to you. But that's a fact. Yes?
What do you think of the UK stopping production of gas and diesel vehicles in 2040? Do you think the US will copy?
Oh, we're not ready. 2040, it is an absolute pipe dream. Look, self-driven vehicles, you know, the Uber automatic vehicles and all this stuff, there is progress being made, but we are not ready 23 years from now to shut down production of gasoline vehicles. And the primary reason is energy capacity. A gallon of gas produces 118,000 watts of energy. The strongest battery today, which is known as a secondary battery, a rechargeable lithium ion, I think is around 10,000 watts per kilogram. So, I mean, you've got just an amazing dissymmetry between the power and gasoline. So we're a long way yet from over-the-road transport and things being converted to lithium. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've made some amazing strides. But there's a car right outside here. My wife drives a Chevy Volt. It is the only American full electric and gas car made. In other words, there's the Teslas, which are all electric, and then there's some hybrids. But it's actually both. It's a full electric and a generator car. It's kind of the only one of its kind in the United States of America. But the max range on that's about 38 miles on battery. So even it has to have fossil fuels to get it beyond 38 miles. So if you said 50 years from now, I would say you got a shot of getting, you know, a shot of getting there. In 20 years, I got a better shot of being pregnant. So, yes, sir.
How many speeding tickets did you say you've gotten around? Because you know, on almost every show I watch, you guys are on something. I can't imagine that. You know.
Are you asking me how many I've gotten or how many I've deserved? Because that's 2 different questions.
You're on Facebook Live.
Okay. Wait. I've gotten 0. Okay, I've gotten 0. I won't say that I deserve 0. And I have been apprehended. I have been pulled over. Oh, wow. I'm not sure exactly how to answer this. But here's what I won't do. What you see, when you see me driving fast and drifting and things, I know what I'm about to say you're going to think is a little bit like, really, is he saying that? But I actually do that in a controlled space where things are blocked off. I'm not running around on Hampton Boulevard around traffic. I'm not putting anyone in danger except me.
Except when you said with the Camaro, you were on it pretty good then.
Well, and I'm not saying that if a road is open, I might not borrow it for 5 seconds. But even if I had a complete brake failure when I'm doing the worst things that I'm doing, no one but me would ever get hurt. And I'm okay with hurting me. I just won't hurt anybody else. So we're getting brave, aren't we? It's good to see you. Do you have a question for me? I would love to get a question from you. Here, can I help you out? Okay. So, what is your best question for me? Doesn't even have to be about cars. Oh, you can't remember? Yes, you can. What's your question? What is Caroline's question?
The first one is, what is your favorite color?
What is my favorite color? Well, on little girls, it's pink. on cars, it's a Viper Red. Dodge has the world's best color. Viper Red is prettier than any candy. It is prettier than anything in the whole world. Your first car should be Viper Red. If I can offer my opinion. Do you have a second question? Because I notice you throw your voice amazingly well. So what's your second question, Caroline?
What's your favorite kind of car?
Wow. Well, have you had your first love yet? I mean, are you engaged yet or married?
Oh, no, we're not.
My first love was a Camaro. And I don't think you ever forget your first love. So I would have to say that if I were going to claim one car to be my favorite, it'd have to be a first generation Camaro, a 67 Camaro. Now, that's not to say that I haven't fallen in love with a few Corvettes and even a few Ferraris. But I will stick with the 67 Camaro, maybe the world's best looking muscle car. Do you like them? Here, let me. No! You're breaking my heart.
Caroline,
You don't like Camaros.
You are a Chevy girl all the way. Come on, you know better.
Don't you like Chevys?
Yeah.
Okay, you like Chevys, so we're halfway there. So what's a better Chevrolet than a Camaro?
Corvette.
Okay, are you a Corvette girl? No! Okay, we're having... What's the best Chevrolet? Because I won't disagree with you that Chevrolet might be the best motor car company in the world. Okay. You don't have to agree. I'm agreeing with... She's right. I'm just following your lead. Caroline,
my
what's
God.
the prettiest Chevrolet ever made? Would it be the Chevelle? Would it be the Nova? It would be the Nova. So you're a Nova girl. Now, did you know that Nova in Spanish means novo? Kind of an odd name for a car. So you like the Novo? Okay. Well, I'm not going to go there. So I'm going to stick with Camaros and Corvettes, but you can be the Nova girl, okay? You going to stay up here and help me out in a few minutes? Will you help me pull tickets out of the thing? To work rooms? Outstanding. All right. One more question, and then it's time to do the